Hey YouTube, it's Adrian. Just before we get you to this video, do me a favor and head over to pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site, and I would love for you to join our launch team. All you need to do is put in your email address. It's completely free. We are looking to make a pageant industry that is safe, transparent, and fair. I know it's like that most of the time, but over the last year, it's become very evident that it's not like that all of the time. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, put in your email address, and let's get you to this. Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project. Happy New Year. 2020. My God, Jesus, 2020. I've got Danielle. Lauren is back. I'm sorry, Lauren, I have to be able to look at you without laughing. It's going to take a while to live your last appearance down. And our special guest for today is none other than Mrs Galaxy 2020, Crystal Cavey. Crystal, how are you?
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. First of all, about 4.5 months into being Mrs. Galaxy, I can honestly say it's been incredible. And I actually just celebrated New Year's in Vegas. And so I'm doing real
jealous.
Good. I didn't lose all my money, so I'm doing great.
Did you win any money?
Not a chance.
Did you even gamble?
$20. That's my cutoff.
Very, very responsible. Okay, just before we catch up with everyone, I'm sure all of you by now have seen what's happening with the Australian bushfires, and you've probably seen some maps like showing, because it's very hard to understand numbers. At the moment, I think it's 12 million acres have burnt. The Californian bushfires, to give you an example, which were huge, were 2 million. So this is 6 times that. There's currently 200 fires or so burning. And so I've put a link to a fundraiser that Celeste Barber started, and quite amazingly, we're up to 40 million. This will be Australian dollars, 40 million Australian dollars. I put the link to that in the comments. If you'd like to donate, obviously I'd encourage you to give you some context. Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who has not handled the bushfires well, he managed to get $30 million from Parliament. So this one appeal has raised more than the Prime Minister was able to get from Parliament. But it is a very sad thing. It's not something we're used to in Australia, sort of natural disasters that take lives. And over 20 people have died now. And as Danielle, I know she knows, over 500,000 animals have been killed, including 30% of the, 500 million, including 30% of the koala population here. I think a lot of you would have seen dehydrated koalas sort of being nursed from bottles and actually grabbing at fireys. Fireys is what us Aussies call firefighters, because we can't say whole words, we give everything abbreviations. So fireys, water bottles to have a drink, and it's really sad. Every day here in Australia the sky is hazy. I couldn't see the Harbour Bridge the other day, and it's so bad that it was a studio cross to a reporter on the ground, and it was like 3 in the afternoon. Like, supposed to be right in the middle of summer, and the sky was pitch black. It was the eeriest thing I've seen. It looked like night. And a friend of mine's over in New Zealand, and whoops. Beg pardon, sorry. Got it. A friend of mine's over in New Zealand, and they can see the smoke from New Zealand. So it's a really, really big thing. So I've left that in the comments. So by all means, I encourage you to donate. But let's get on with the show. And I start always with catching up with what everyone's been up to. So Danielle, why don't you head off? Why don't you go first, then I'll go around to Lauren, and then finally to our guest. So what have you been up to in the first week of 2020?
Oh, gosh. A little bit of work. I have been prioritising time with my family as well. So I've been hanging out with my dad a lot, which has been really nice. Yesterday I did my volunteering. I work with the Lee Bridge Conservation volunteers, so I was out there with them yesterday. We were kind of doing a bit of a bramble bash and took down a buddleia tree, which is kind of overtaking the area. So just working on my conservation, planning kind of the next 3 months as well in the run up to Galaxy. So yeah, that's kind of been my entrance into the new year.
What's the tree that you said? Budleia?
The Budleia tree. Yeah, there's a lot of it in the UK, basically. You might recognise it as the butterfly tree, which sounds really cute and all, but it really does destroy quite a lot of buildings. It's like a cone-shaped flower that's purple, and it tends to attract a lot of butterflies, but it is quite a destructive tree. So we try and limit the amount we have of it, and we had one particular tree on this piece of land that was kind of taken over the entire environment, but also not only was that tree kind of taken over the environment, but the brambles kind of were entwined with it as well. So it was taken out over a footpath in a nature reserve, so that's kind of why we were removing that.
Wow. Did you get lots of gnarly cuts and things on your arms like last time?
I got off lightly this time. I was very good. I think I've just got one just here. I might have got a couple on the back of my legs, but other than that, I got off very lightly. I wasn't up to my neck in a swamp this time. I was on ground.
Sounds much more civilized for a pageant queen rather than wading around in mud. I mean, you looked quite happy wading around in mud, I have to say.
I love it. I love wading around in mud. It's good fun. It's nice to have a contrast in your life. I like obviously the glamorous side and the styling and being everything that comes with being a beauty queen, but also on the flip side of that, I do like getting a bit dirty and down with it, and kind of, you got to get your hands dirty every now and then. It's fun.
Yep, absolutely. And you started, I saw you started an Instagram for them, was it?
Yes, I did. So the group that I meet up with, they tend to be more kind of middle-aged men. I think we have 2 pensioners. So when I kind of spoke to them about social media and kind of what I do, and I'm a big fan of social media, I kind of dabbled and offered my services in the first couple of times that I hung out with them, and then they made me a proper member, and I got my t-shirt yesterday, and I said, right, I'm going to commit to this. I'm making the social media, let's go. So I had them send me some images, anything they want me to put out on their social media. So I am managing the LBCV Instagram page.
Nice. What I got a bit of. We'll keep going. I've just seen the stream has stopped. That's because my internet is bugging out. Just give me a sec.
It
I'll
just
start it
says
again.
we was live. The pageant project was live.
Oh, did it drop out?
Yeah.
It's
You
completely
guys know
gone
what
off.
my internet is like. The internet's gotten worse since we've had the bushfires. So I'm just going to hit. All right, just give me a sec. Let me start a new one. Sorry. Okay. Hopefully this year I'll be able to get proper faster internet, and then this won't be an issue anymore. Like this Galaxy 2020. It's all being recorded, so I'll release the recording after this live with Mrs Galaxy.
Oopsie. I don't know what's happening with my page. I think my book is like leaning on some kind of cursor, and it's just like making. I need to move it a bit. Oh my goodness! It's like my laptop is like possessed.
Okay, I'm gonna hit go live. All right. Go live anyway. Come on.
There's a
Alright, we're live again.
chainsaw.
Oh yeah, if it gets really loud, as I said, please tell me, because I can just hear it in the background, but hopefully for you guys it's not too loud. Sorry guys, we dropped out Australian internet, which I will say has gotten worse since the bushfires, because it's been affected by the bushfires, obviously. So that's what Danielle's been up to, playing around in the mud. Lauren, what about yourself? What have you been up to? We haven't seen you for
2 weeks.
For a couple of weeks.
I went
Yes,
into
it hasn't
hiding
been the same
after
without you.
last time. But
You
I'm
needed
all
to
good.
recover.
I'm back. I went to rehab for a little bit. No, I'm joking. No, I was sick. I've been so
God.
sick.
Sick.
I think it's just but for me, I've just been planning my trip to Thailand. I go next month, and I've just been planning like little things to get involved in whilst I've been there. So I'm now collecting books and school supplies.
I don't know what I've done.
For an
Sorry to interrupt. I think I've accidentally hosting a watch party. How did I do that?
Yeah, I can hear a little bit of an echo. Just close off of Facebook.
I'm just there's no sound coming out of my laptop.
Oh,
whoopsie.
Seems to be okay now.
If you're watching this on a watch party, I do apologise. I don't know how I did that. I'll just come off of Facebook completely. Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
I'm juggling a million things here. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Technology is not my bag.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm going to turn my headphones off. I think it could be my headphones.
Yeah, I'm just getting a little bit of an echo. Danielle, are you with us?
I'm with you. I turned everything off.
All right. Yeah, it's just easier, believe me. You have a billion things going on in the background. All right, Lauren, are you good?
Yeah, I just turned my headphones off because I think it might have been mine.
Okay, all right. Did you want to run us through again what you've been doing the last couple of weeks? Let's start this again.
So let me just. Can you hear me now? Yeah, that's better. So I was I've lost my train of thought, but I'm now collecting books and school supplies for an orphanage in Thailand. It's a self-funded orphanage, so they don't get any government funding or anything like that. So anything that can help, they'll appreciate. So I'm currently in talks with Qatar Airlines to hopefully be able to get a free suitcase that I can just fill with lots of things that I can take there. But obviously I did price up another airline. They were going to charge me £400 to £600 just to get the stuff there. To ship it would cost £200. So now I'm like, fingers crossed Qatar Airlines will allow me to take an extra 10 kilograms. Otherwise, I will not have any clothes. And my suitcase, I was thinking of just taking a little hold all in my hand luggage as my clothes, and then suitcase just be dedicated to everything that I want to take for them. And obviously then coming home, I'll have all my dresses ready for my pageant because they're obviously all being made in Thailand. And yeah, it's just a lot of preparation. I mean, I've got just under 4 months until the finals, and I'm just ready to go and get everything ready.
Yep. There's less than 3 months to go to UK Galaxy, and
I
then
know,
4 months to go to.
Right now, I would literally. I remember when I was preparing for Galaxy, and I was having those dreams where I was like forgetting things or like falling off stage. I'm like, how are you?
I think those are called nightmares, not dreams, to be clear.
I always won at the end, so it was definitely a dream.
Oh, that's a happy ending then.
I keep having the nightmare that none of my wardrobe's going to come on time because I kind of left it a little bit, not too late, but I'm having a little bit of anxiety that it's not here with me, and I can't practice in it because I love to practice in my full wardrobe, and I'm having a little bit of anxiety around that because it's not here.
Well, I literally bring back Olivia's fashion wear, and I don't know how she's not, because I've just told her to leave it to me, and I'm the one that's like planning everything, so I don't know how she's not having like a heart attack at the fact that she's leaving everything to me.
That's a lot of trust.
Yeah. And Olivia, if you're watching this, I need your measurements. Please send me your measurements.
You still haven't got her measurements?
No.
Don't you need the measurements before you get the stuff, not after? Or have I been doing it wrong?
We're all waiting on Olivia's measurements. Please give them to me.
So, Olivia, if you're watching this, just type your measurements in the comments below. It's fine. Okay. Olivia did mention that she was leaving it all up to you when we had her on the podcast, and Joanna was subbing in for you. So, yeah, no, she's very trusting. Don't betray that trust, hopefully. Or do.
No,
it'll be funny.
I have got a very, very good eye for things. So it is going to be amazing.
Okay, all right. And Crystal, last but not least, definitely, what have you been up to since, I guess, our interview? So I guess from winning the title, if you can remember that far back, because it's probably dog years for you, and it seems like a lifetime ago. But if I can take you back to when you were crowned Mrs. Galaxy to now, can you give us an overview as to what you've been up to? Because I'm going to imagine it's manic and it's been a lot.
Well, it has been a lot, and it's only a lot because I want it to be that way. I said that if given this opportunity, when I sat in the judges' room, I told them straight out, if given the opportunity to be your Mrs. Galaxy, that it would be my goal to work to make them proud and to be the hardest worker in the room, to be the example for other systems, for my sister queens in both systems, that kind of like hard work prevails. And I went in there and I said, hey, here's the deal. At the end of the day, some days you're not the skinniest. Some days, by standards of beauty, you may not feel or be the prettiest. You may not be the tallest, but I always hold firm to being the hardest worker in the room. And so I've done just a combination of about everything from, Marley's Ministries to Free Little Libraries to being on the radio. I've been on TV for lighting the Christmas tree in my town with the mayor. I was on the front cover of the Focus on Glen Ellen magazine telling my story about inspiring women to be their personal best. I've, represented at pageant systems, done food drives, and went to the Canada Galaxy pageant, which was an absolutely amazing experience. I was at New York Fashion Week. I was actually the MC for the suicide prevention show on Suicide Prevention Day, National Suicide Prevention Day. I dressed up like Santa Claus and walked for Suicide Prevention Services of America. I've served food to the homeless. We've collected blankets for the homeless. And yesterday, I was the MC for one of the largest pageant events in the U.S. that brings systems together, and it's called the Pageant event. And I MC'd the entire fashion show, and I was their guest of honor, as well as, which was a huge honor, and one of the biggest honors I've actually ever received. And I became the Marley's Ministry Advocate of the Year yesterday, and received an award on stage for my work that I did in Puerto Rico. So it's been a journey. We're only, we're not even quite halfway there yet, and there's a lot more to come. I have something, I have a lot of things planned. I really do believe in the planning process of your year. I don't just kind of let things fall into my lap, and I've loved it so far. I can honestly say I haven't done anything I haven't loved.
Can I get an appearance count, just to scare everyone as to how... I remember now back to our interview, and I came off the interview going, I think that's the hardest working queen I've ever spoken to. What's the appearance count like so far? 52.
Wow.
And I like to think that they're 52 really good appearances. So I don't like to just do anything. I really do want to diversify. I want to focus on helping the homeless, women's events, some fashion shows, some dressing up, some getting dirty. I wouldn't mind, I've built a playground. I've built a baseball diamond for Little City Foundation in the past, many years ago. Those are the types of things I would like to diversify my body of work before my time as Mrs. Galaxy's over.
I think that's the unique thing about Galaxy as well, is it doesn't just have one thing that you have to stick to.
Correct.
Yeah, like obviously in the UK you do have to raise money for the Christie Cancer Charity, but that people like to do that. People enjoy doing that. But then alongside of it, people also support many other charities, and I think that's the really good thing about it.
It is the most amazing thing about it. Like I believe in diversifying your body of work, because I think that's how you appeal to other title holders to come to your system is, hey, we do a little bit of everything here.
You can choose what you want to do as well. It's not something that's forced upon you. It's something that you must feel passionate about because you want to do it.
And most of the time it's stuff you love doing. I haven't made an appearance I haven't had a blast at yet. So it's been awesome so far.
Crystal, do you have a target number of appearances that you'd like to do during your reign? I'm almost afraid to ask.
I've made 600 appearances in the last 6 years. So, and
We'll
it's done.
go home 1,000. Let's do it.
Yeah. And it hasn't been hard. Like, I feel
600
like
in 6 years. Oh my God.
It's actually over 600.
100 a year.
Yeah, but it's been nothing that's been hard. You know, I feel like it's been things that people have come to me and they've said, hey, we'd love to have you at our event. I was at an event yesterday and I probably got invited to 10 events over the course of the next couple of months, along with things that I'm planning myself and along with partnering with other title holders from other systems. So I would say I wouldn't make anything less than 100. And that's not because the number counts, but because I want to be out there as Mrs. Galaxy and I want to be with the people. Like, I want to be with the title holders. I want to be with the people who need my help. I want to be with the organizations that I can make a difference in. And I just think that 100 times over is probably at least where it will be. And it probably will go over that easily. But at the end of the day, I want to be with the people. And I want to show that this is something amazing. And if given this opportunity, do the work.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have any, I can see a lot of you watching. If you have any questions for Crystal or any messages of support, put them in the comments. You know how it works. Beatrice Alicia has said, Crystal, you're such an inspiration. Well, she just said, you're such an inspiration.
Oh, thank you. That's my sister queen, Ms. Bella Latina International. And she's obviously 2020 and I was 2018 because I had the honor to be Ms. Bella Latina 2018 and then Mrs. Latina Galaxy and then Mrs. Galaxy 2020. So I crossed over for both systems and I love both systems very much equally. And Beatrice is an absolutely amazing queen, sister queen.
And Maria Torres is watching. Everyone want to say hello to Maria?
Hello to the best
Hey, Maria.
I was literally just on FaceTime to Maria's daughter like 30 minutes ago.
We love FaceTiming Maria.
It was me and her daughter. We were just having one of those catch-ups that psychos need to have every now and again.
Oh, her daughter is a psycho as well, is she?
No, she's not in the group chat, but she's almost there.
Oh, Lauren, do you want to quickly explain to Crystal why I'm calling Maria Torres' daughter a psycho, just for context?
So, me, Chloe, Lake, and Joanna Johnson have a group chat, and our group chat is named The Three Psychopaths. Because
I understand. So as soon as you said that, I actually am in a group chat with 6 other women, and we all are in or have been in pageantry, but we support each other unconditionally, and we're called the Crown Tribe. So I understand.
Crown Tribe.
Yeah,
well, that's a much more suitable name than.
Some of them are watching rants to each other, so we call ourselves psychos because sometimes we have to rant about our own lives, and it just.
It's good to have friends that you can do that with.
Very good. Otherwise, you'd go insane, and you'd be an actual psychopath.
You'd be a real psycho.
I'm not sure how I'm doing with the staying sane part. But Crystal, on the subject of people that you're close with, I've seen a few photos of you with Serena, who I've also interviewed as well. Are you close with Serena?
So I've known Serena since the day my daughter competed in her first pageant. So my daughter actually competed years ago, and Serena was her first judge. And I met her, and we just became fast friends. And actually, when Serena won Ms. US Continental this year, I was her coach.
Oh, wow.
So I'm very close to her. Very, very close. We do lives all the time. She's the international spokesperson for Marley's ministry, and she won the Volunteer of the Year award, and I won the Advocate of the Year award yesterday. So we're super close. We support each other in pretty much everything that we do. She flew to Galaxy to watch me when I won this year. Along with like 35 others.
I know. The audience is just insane. And I was like,
all there.
Crystal's gang.
So fun.
They were going
and
crazy. I couldn't even hear myself think.
Anywhere. Yeah, well, it was amazing. And now they get the benefit of not having to fly anywhere because Galaxy's coming to my home state.
There you go.
Oh, Chicago pizza.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be louder this year.
Pizza and stuffed crust pizza. I'm so there already.
So good. So good.
Okay, just to bring you up to speed with the Facebook comments, Lauren's mum has asked, Crystal, I'm assuming you're asking Crystal because you know that I'm coming to UK Galaxy, but Crystal, are you coming to UK Galaxy?
I sure am hoping to be there this year. It is on my calendar right now. Yes.
There you go. Maria has said, love you guys, with love you in caps. And Beatrice has said, you're an excellent coach. How many winners have you coached?
Winners, I would say probably upwards in the last 4 years of nationally, I would say probably 50, 55, mostly misses, some MS, some miss. And I've actually, early on, I used to coach a ton of kids. So probably 50 to 55. And last year I had a very, very solid year. Nearly everyone I coached won their pageant last year. So it was a good, solid year. In one pageant, I had 4 winners win and then 1 first runner-up out of 6. And I didn't have anybody in the 6th division. So it's been a good run. And I don't.
But if I did,
honestly,
I would have had that too.
And personally, I don't necessarily keep track of the number as much as, like, for me, I really want women to use this platform as an opportunity to be their best, to do more, and to show people that in a world where most people say no to doing the work, say yes to doing the work. I mean, you only get one shot on this earth. I don't think I'm coming back as a bumblebee or anything. So I want to make a difference while I'm here.
You might.
You'll be busy as a bumblebee.
Coming back to sing us all.
If I'm going to come back as a bumblebee, I want to be the Gucci bee. So, look, I'm just honest.
She's going to be a bougie bumblebee.
So I feel like I really, really, really love helping women to be their best and to kind of find their inner voice and inner things that they want to share. So I love it.
Crystal, I didn't realize you coached so many people, because we didn't actually talk about that during the interview, but for your coaching, do you actually have any spots available? And if you do, what's the best way for people to, so what's the best way for people to get into contact with you for coaching?
Easiest way is to send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. I actually will tell you, fun fact, I coached 21 women this weekend.
Wow.
11 one day, 10 the next day, and then 4 today. So it's the easiest way to get a hold of me is on Facebook or Instagram. And I do, I consult with women all the time. I'm a confidential individual. I'm a certified life coach by trade and a certified public speaker as well as a salesperson. And I just really love to help women be their personal best. That's my tagline: be your personal best, with your in capital letters.
I love it. I love what I'm loving about this is just, because I know you're not doing it to brag, but what I love about it is that people can see how high the bar is set, and it's based on hard work. That's what I think is amazing, because for people to know, okay, if I want to be the international queen of any system, just to know how hard you work, and so that people can once and for all just realize that for most pageant queens, it's not just sitting there having your photo taken and then that's it. I think that's amazing. But I mean, that boggles my mind. I mean, in between that 100 or so appearances per year that you're doing that much coaching in one weekend, it makes me feel really lazy. I feel really bad now.
No, don't feel lazy. I don't set that standard for other people to feel like they have to. But speaking of hard work, when you said that, it reminded me of the one conversation I can remember having with my husband. I had it at Mrs. America when I placed top 15 in 2016, and I had it again at Mrs. Galaxy. And I remember after the interview, I sat down on my bed because I had gone to change, and my husband said, "How did it go?" And I said, "You know, the honest truth, I left it all there. I left I came in with a plan, and I left every single thing in the interview room. And if the judges want me to represent this system, I am ready, capable, willing, and able. It's time. If they don't pick me, I'm going to still be Crystal Cavey, and I'm still going to be okay." And I knew that I was humble in the sense that I had done the work, and I was going to do the work if I won, and that I would set the standard to make the judges proud of their decision. And that's why I work so hard. I want them to be proud of their decision.
That attitude, which is an amazing attitude, and I think it's if there is any such thing as a right attitude to go into the pageantry without the expectation of winning, but having felt that you really left it all out there. Can I just ask quickly, when do you think you adopted that attitude? Because you came to pageantry later, but if the 20-year-old version of you was competing, would you have had that attitude? Or if not, when did you think you developed that attitude?
I think I really did develop that attitude pretty early on in life. I grew up with very, very hardworking parents. I'm the oldest of 5 kids, and my parents got married when they were 16 and 17, and they're still married today.
Oh, wow.
And so I knew what it was like not to have every single thing I ever wanted. And I knew what it was like from 16, I had a job, to have to work hard for what you wanted. And so I've always believed that hard work will prevail when it's your time. And sometimes you don't win, even when you do work hard, because it's not your time, and it's not your system, or it's not where you're supposed to be. And so I think I have adopted it very early on, but more recently, I really hold firm to that because I have an 18-year-old and a 13-year-old. And quite honestly, I want them to work hard.
Of course.
I want them to get good jobs. I want them to work hard. And I want them to know you're not going to get everything you want in life. But if you work hard and you put in the time and the work, that God will put you right where you belong. And if he wanted me to be Mrs. Galaxy and I had worked for it, I believe the stars would have aligned, and they did.
Yeah.
So,
do you find
I didn't do my first pageant. I didn't do my first pageant until I was 37 years old.
I remember that. I remember that number very clearly in my mind. Do you find it difficult with bringing up the kids to actually instill that hard work ethos in them? Because that's something that a lot of parents struggle with, because a lot of kids, at least where I'm at, are very entitled. They always have the latest iPhone, for example. When they turn 16 or 18, they can drive. Parents buy them a brand new Mercedes. It's just, and they complain if they don't get the latest Mercedes. Do you find it hard to instill that really ethos of hard work into your children?
Yeah, it's hard. There's absolutely no doubt. I mean, I think we live in a world where instant gratification is key. Like, everyone wants it. There's no doubt about that. And, and we do a lot of things for our kids. We do. We are given that, and we work very hard. So we're able to give them some of those things that maybe we didn't have, or maybe they've worked hard for, but they're also straight A students. And my daughter works. She's actually a barista in a coffee shop. So
but I feel like,
because Mama's
Crystal,
not buying her those makeup palettes. She's got to buy those herself.
You're definitely the kind of person that leads by example, though. Seeing how hard you work, seeing how hard their mother works, for them it's only going to, the apple only falls so far from the tree. Your children are going to have the same work ethic that you have. Absolutely. Like, I've seen how hard my father has worked for his life, and then that's kind of, it gets instilled in you from your parents. I feel it's one of those kinds of things. So I don't think you have a real problem getting your kids to get down or knuckle down, because you've led from example.
Thank you. I try.
I do feel like, obviously, from being made to work from such a young age just for pocket money, it kind of did carry on into the pageants. Then it got to a level for me where I just feel like when I did Galaxy and Miss Wales the first time, I was in a different career back then. It was so much easier for me to be able to make these appearances. And I was invited to a lot more when I was a Galaxy Queen. Now I feel like because I'm not a Galaxy Queen, because most people do aspire to be a Galaxy girl in the UK. It is what everyone wants to do. Ever since handing over my title, I do feel like there's gotten this kind of, I'm not invited to things anymore.
No, Lauren.
No,
you'd never not be invited to things.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. There's a lot of times when people just want you because you are a Galaxy. And I get it. I'm not saying it's a negative thing at all. And I really understand. Because the Galaxy title does come with a huge responsibility, and you do get asked to do a lot. And I feel like there was a lot more opportunity back then. Now it's kind of, I'm in a different career. Maybe I can't attend things as much as possible, but now I'm going through a different path where it isn't, I do have to obviously be actively involved in things, but it's not so much the pageant appearances that I need to be involved in. For me now, it's not about going to a pageant and judging it. It's about actually getting there and helping out in these communities that need it. And I think throughout your pageant journey, your paths do change and your work ethic changes, and the kind of like the things you put into these different things change. So usually it would just be preparing to judge a pageant, checking the social media. Now for me, it's about, no, I'm actually going to get out there. I'm going to travel, and I'm going to do something that I love and help out whilst I'm doing it. And I think through each different system, the appearances change, the work changes, you grow, you develop different skills. And I do think, like, although I love the fact that I was always at appearances with with my Galaxy crown, and I was doing so much with that, and obviously with my grand crown as well, like, 'cause obviously I was still one of Holly's girls.
Right.
I enjoyed what I did with that, and now it kind of evolves, and maybe people see me as not being involved in the pageant community as much. I still am. I'm still there. If anybody ever needed help, you can still message me.
Yeah,
unfortunately, my
always
priorities
there.
have changed, and attending a pageant isn't something that I need to do or want to do anymore. What I want to do is help out in my community, help out in other people's communities, and go there and actually travel the world and experiencing different things.
And I would tell you that I will never believe it's just sheerly about the number. I do think it's about the body of work. And I think as we've gotten older, like, even my priorities have changed. So early on, I'm a very consistent individual. So long before I ever competed in a pageant, I was doing the work in my community, from being a part of the daddy-daughter dance to being the president of my kids', parent-teacher organization, and the vice president for 7 years. And these things have evolved. So a lot of those bodies of work were around my kids' stuff. And as they've gotten older, now I have this opportunity. So I don't think that it'll ever be about the number, but I agree that it really is about the body of work and where you are right now.
Yeah.
Like last year, as Mrs. Latina Galaxy, no matter what, I was getting on that plane, I was flying to Puerto Rico, and I was delivering care rounds to those 3 NICUs that needed it. That was in my heart. That was my mission then. And as Mrs. Galaxy, my mission is to inspire other people to see how wonderful this system is, to get out and be present in this moment that I've been given. And I think you go through different phases. And I'll tell you, quite honestly, I think as a woman, I think that's okay.
And I think each pageant has a different criteria, has a different different message that they want to put across. The Galaxy is about community work. It is about being involved in things, and it is so much about that. Whether I feel like now with Miss Wales, it's more about building my platform, using what platform they're giving me to also help others. And although it is around about the same thing as Galaxy, it's just a little bit less of being involved in pageants.
Sure.
Less in the pageant world, more in your
community, more getting out there, and more. Yeah, and I do think when it comes to appearances don't count for anything. Is in Miss Wales, or is Paula introduced that now? So appearances don't really count per se in Miss World. What really counts, what Julia Morley really cares about with Miss World, is your Beauty with a Purpose project. So I always say to anyone that's doing Miss World or considering doing Miss England or Miss Wales, Miss Scotland, really focus on your Beauty with a Purpose project. That is your be all and end all. All the other stuff, like your wardrobe and appearances. Just in case people are watching and they don't know, Beauty with a Purpose is the chosen charity of Miss World.
Okay.
They tend to create a project in their area or wherever they really want, and really work on that and create something, and then the charity called Beauty with a Purpose will put money and fund your project. So the winner of the Beauty with a Purpose at Miss World, which is Nepal, they've won it 2 years in a row now, I think. They're building hospitals.
Nepal always win.
They are building hospitals in the middle of Nepal where there's no roads, and they're building roads and building hospitals and getting doctors there because these people just have no health care. And I think that's why they win, because it is such
there's a lot of work.
It's about scope and impact. It's scope and impact. It's making a difference.
It's a need. And I feel like, although it's great to do appearances, and I absolutely love doing mine, I had so much fun networking, and they are for obviously Galaxy, it used to be for UK Power Pageant, you used to get points. I understand that, but remember, you don't make yourself ill from doing appearances. I remember I was so worried the year I did Galaxy because I got glandular fever, and I messaged Holly and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm doing nothing lately. I'm so sick, like really ill in bed. I had to take like 4 weeks off work. And she was like, Lauren, your health is more important. I was like, no, but the points.
What I'll do, let me just bring you up to speed with the Facebook comments, and then we've actually gone into appearances, which is what Danielle wanted to discuss. We're doing it a bit backwards, but that's fine. I will get Danielle to give us some context as to why she wanted to talk about appearances. But just to bring up to speed, Angela's Reyes, and I'm hopeless with Latina pronunciation. She said, "You go Queen," with a heart. That's obviously for Crystal. Catherine Adamson over here in Australia, who's just entered and won her first pageant in the Mrs. section. A classic section, I believe. Crystal is by far the hardest working queen I know of. So inspired by you, Crystal, with a love heart. Jessica Barclay has said the only true instant gratification is chocolate. Chocolate in capital letters.
And coffee.
You're doing okay there, Jessica. And coffee. Yeah, coffee. I have my coffee mug right here. I will say just really quickly.
Hey, well, I need to get mine. Mine's so
on the
boring
topic,
to all of you guys.
On the topic of appearances and what counts, I'll give a shout out to Jessica Barclay because she has her podcast and she had Holly Perry on and they actually did a dedicated episode as to what actually counts as appearances and what they look at. Because just quickly, exactly what Lauren was talking about and people freaking out that they haven't done enough appearances. And as Crystal has alluded to already, it's also the quality and the body of work. It's not simply, and I'm going to single someone out but not name them by name. I saw someone went into McDonald's and put their sash on and ate a burger and took a photo of it and sort of posted it as an appearance. And I'm like, no, well, we'll get into that more, but it's not about just the quantity, it's the quality. So if you have the time, check out.
Now they're going straight to their Facebook and taking that picture down.
Right.
I tell you, I saw that and I was a bit like,
I've seen someone go to
rolling.
the airport and to get their sash out, or go to Disney and get their sash out and put it in their appearance folder, and I've been judging it and I'm like, that's not an appearance. Or they put the same appearance but just in a different place and tried to count it as two, and I'm like, wait, that's the same outfit.
Yeah, well, no, we've seen that. We'll get into all the tricks, and I'm going to give Danielle allow her to speak about the context because I'm sure there's a reason she wants to bring it up. And just finally, Crystal, Anthe has written here that you were the first international queen that followed her journey as a finalist, but actually made me feel so nice with her uplifting comments that I felt her as a friend, even that we haven't met in person yet.
Aww.
It's a testament that she is an amazing soul, and OMG, your journey is one to admire. Thank you for being such an inspiration. So there you go, Crystal.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Miss Latimer, would you like? I know we're doing this a little bit backwards, but do you want to just give us context as to?
Yes. Well, I wanted to talk about appearances. Obviously, Galaxy, you have to do appearances. I know, Crystal, you've been working really hard. But there is a pageant out there, there are a few pageants out there where they have started to put a lot of emphasis now on appearances. I'm not going to name the system, but there is a system that will give 50 extra points to a girl if they complete over 70 appearances. So a girl could turn up to the pageant having done the maximum amount and got the maximum points of 50, and there might be another girl or other girls that probably can't do that many, whether they're studying or they've got work, but that girl could turn up with those appearances and have won before even stepping on the stage.
I'm sorry, but I do not
do we
do
think
50
that's
appearances in a year or 70 appearances in a year.
I wasn't sure if that's fair.
It's not. I think at the end of the day, like, you're entering a pageant, especially in the UK, it's more of a hobby. If it's being made to look like hard work and too much work and an unachievable goal, and then you're penalising the girls by saying, but actually you won't get the maximum points if you don't do these appearances, I feel like it's unfair on the finalists to dictate to them how much effort they have to put in. I'm sure that's for the judges to decide and not the director. Yeah. That's why you obviously have a panel of judges. But who's to say that they don't do 70 appearances of just all the same day, dropping one bin bag off at a charity shop? Is that going to count? Or just stand outside a charity shop and with it, what do you want these appearances to be classed as?
Yeah. I think it's like a lot of other things that have come up with pageantry. It's not a straight off simple question. I think a lot of it, for me anyway, it would come down to what actually counts as an appearance, but more and how it's judged.
And you'll get 50 extra points. 50 extra points. That's a lot of points. Is there even a point of having a show? Is there even a point of having a runway for everyone, doing the show? If someone can do the maximum amount of work, which is great, which is amazing. But there will be girls that can't reach the maximum, that won't get that amount of points, and then they've just put just as much hard work in other aspects of the competition that would never win because they haven't got the maximum points going into it.
Yeah, so I don't, if I could, I'll chime in for just a moment. I don't,
go for it.
As Mrs. Galaxy, I don't necessarily comment on other systems, and I actually don't even know what system it is because I'm not in the UK. So the truth is, when I became Mrs. Galaxy, so, you know, I have like my top priorities. So my family is my first priority, my husband, then my kids, you know, my career, you know, my friends, Mrs. Galaxy, it's a priority of mine. And so to me, it's important to be an outstanding representative because I get this honor to be Mrs. Galaxy. I mean, it's just like Mrs. Galaxy 2020. It's a dream come true. You know, when it comes to appearances, I don't know the breakdown or the criteria for that system. So if they were getting 50 extra points and, you know, there was 1,000 points scoring breakdown, then maybe that's not so much. I don't actually know. But what I say is when it comes to systems in general, for me, it's like this. I'm really not, let's be honest. Like, you want to know something I'm not really good at? Math. So I'm probably not going to apply for the job of accountant. You know, it's probably not going to happen. So if I'm the person who's like, look, here's the deal. I don't want to make 70 appearances. I'm not going to compete in that system. Yeah. I'm going to compete somewhere else. Or if I'm a person who's like, look, I'm never walking across the stage in a swimsuit. Well, and Mrs. Galaxy requires swimsuit for 20%. Well, then I'm not going to be able to compete at Mrs. Galaxy, or I'm only going to have an 80% of the score. And
Absolutely.
So to me, I think that the one thing I don't know whether I agree or disagree with the number of appearances. 71 is a lot. I mean, that's a lot of appearances to require.
Or just a finalist.
So, but what I do like is I do love the diversity in pageantry today. And the hope that never do we have every system requiring the same thing. Like, okay, if that director says, hey, I want 70 appearances, it's like, if I know I can't make them, I'm not going to be a finalist for them. Yeah. If this director says, hey, I want swim, and I know that I can't get on the stage in a swimsuit because maybe I get anxiety or it makes me nervous to be in a swimsuit, I'm not going to compete there. Or activewear, or hey, I'm not, if this system over here is 50% interview and that's not my strong suit, maybe I'm going to go somewhere where the interview is worth 15 or 20. You know, I think that so the one thing I would say is, I don't know whether 70 is a good number or not, but the important thing in pageantry that I do like is I do like the diversity and the fact that there are systems for many women. And so maybe that system is for a woman who's like, look, this is my big thing I do. Yeah. And I volunteer at the food pantry 4 times a week, so I know I can compete there. And for the woman who says, look, this is my hobby, I can't do that, that's probably not going to be the system for that woman. You know, I hope that makes sense in the most truthful way I can say it. You know, and Galaxy's requirements are, I actually, to be honest with you, I know I meet them so quickly that I don't even think about them, to be honest. But I think when I think about hard work, hard work can be defined differently by different people, but you know in your heart if this is something that you're truly going to embody and represent well. You know, I mean, going into it, you know. And so I just think that the one good thing is I do believe diversity in pageantry and diversity in systems is a really, really good thing. But I don't know whether 70 is the right number or not.
Well, I guess there's no such thing as right or wrong. Let me just quickly bring you up to speed. Catherine Henry has said, Crystal, you're a huge inspiration. Thank you for having such a strong work ethic and being absolutely stunning. Maria Torres is just for context with the Galaxy system. So Maria has said, Galaxy does not demand appearances, but we give a maximum of 10 points to encourage girls to get out and promote the system. 70 appearances for 50 points is insane. So that's where Maria comes down on it, so that she clearly has an opinion on it. And Shirley James has said that, the 70 appearances for 50 points is not fair. But I mean, I was going to say basically what Crystal said, and it's really, you do your research, which we've covered before in podcasts. Research before entering a pageant, and really, if you don't like the rules, don't enter. I say it as like, if you don't like the rules of the game, don't play. Like, if you're going to play, you forego the right to complain about it once you've entered, because you know, as long as the rules are up front, this is the thing. So if the rules actually change whilst you're in this, and that has happened. There have been accusations of, for example.
More. That's why it was a bit more of the topic that I wanted to cover, because there was some people that I've spoken to that they didn't realise they'd already joined, and they didn't realise that was such a requirement. They were like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this?
I think like when I've gone to look on certain pageant websites and look for the T's and C's of the pageant, I found them very difficult to find. I mean, I have looked on one. I've looked on one specific pageant and there is actually no T's and C's on their website. And I have tried Googling it with the pageant and the T's and C's. Can't find it anywhere. I mean, if you go to like Holly's website, you scroll right down to the bottom and it says T's and C's. And I think it's always a good thing, is if you are curious about a pageant and you maybe don't know the T's and C's or can't find them on the website, email them and get them. Make sure that's the right for you, because although it may look amazing and the glitz and glamour at the end, it could say you've signed your soul over to the devil, and you'll never know because you've already signed that contract.
Well,
that would be an interesting pageant.
I will say that's the good thing about the Galaxy system. My director's straight to the point. So
yeah, but you did sign you signed your soul over to the devil. Did Maria not tell you it's at the bottom of her contract?
Well, she hasn't told me yet, but I still have some months left in my reign. But you have
to get a blue light at the bottom just to read Maria Torres as you have now signed your soul over to the devil.
Just to clarify,
I'm going to FaceTime her when we're done.
and just clarify. So, in case you're watching this, you don't know.
Say, Lauren, shut up.
T's and C's are the terms and conditions, if you didn't know what Lauren was talking about. And obviously Lauren is good friends with Maria, so she's saying that as a joke. My time on social media has pointed out to me that if you don't tell people this is a joke, then they don't get it and they get offended. So, okay, that was a joke. If you have no sense of humor, delete. But I think that going back to what Danielle said, I think it really is like, if the T's and C's were not readily available, and then you enter the system, especially once you've paid your entrance fee, and then they go, oh, by the way, you've got to do a minimum of 70 appearances to get 50 points. That's very unfair. But I think we all know that there are also times when girls enter pageants and don't read the T's and C's, and then they enter and go, oh crap, and then they start complaining. And I don't think that's fair, because I think if you're going to enter a system, you respect their rules. If you don't agree with their rules, that's fine. Don't enter.
I found in Galaxy as well. They were like, "Oh, I've got to make a fashion wear. This is like a week before the pageant." I'm like, "Do you not read the handbook?"
Well, no, I think a lot of them don't. I'm sure a lot of them do not. I mean, you could ask Maria. I mean, I'm sure, because this is the thing. Like Maria, during our interview, she told me she goes to pains that they don't go to in a lot of other pageants. Like when the audience sits down, she makes sure the audience knows that they have to behave in a certain way because they are a reflection of the contestant. Yeah. And you do need to go that extra mile if you're a director these days, just because a lot of people, you give them everything. You give them the handbook, you assume they're going to have common sense, etc., and you just need to push that extra mile, I think.
I remember there was this like ongoing joke when after I won Galaxy, it was the year Sarah Pritchard had handed over a UK title. She was obviously the international queen too. Mm-hmm. And we were all there, and Holly and Sarah was like, I never actually read my handbook that Holly had given her. And then Sarah put on Facebook yesterday saying, what time does Galaxy's registration start? And Holly was like, it's in the handbook. She'd never read it for the whole year, not read a handbook once. And literally the day I got it, because Holly was like, I need everyone to read their handbook. Like, it is important. It has your wardrobe details, it has flight details, it has everything you need. The handbook, don't ask me any questions, it's in there. And I remember, like, after I'd won, I got to my room after, like, everyone congratulated me, and I was like, first things first, handbook. And I literally sat there with the handbook reading it, and I was like falling asleep, and I had like 200 notifications on my phone of people like messaging me and congratulating me. And then the next day I was like, breakfast, handbook, and I'm there reading it again just to make sure I got everything.
What does Holly give it to you when you come off the stage and go, there's a handbook?
No, it is in. So when I won, I got a Sherry Hill bag with all my sponsored goodies in. The handbook is in there, ready to go.
Wow.
But it does have everything you need in there.
I wasn't sure if she sent like a PDF.
She does. She sends it an email copy as well.
A backup.
You lose the hard copy. It's there. There's no excuses.
How just to give context, how thick is a handbook, or how long does it take the average person to sort of go through it?
It took me 2 days.
Yeah, they're pretty thick.
But it's not useless information. Like, you need all that information. It tells you about photos you can post, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. I remember in my Miss Grand Wales one, it even said there was a section on Latinas in there. And it was literally like, because she was like, the Latinas are the nicest girls you'll ever meet, but remember, they want to get in front of the camera too. And they were like, don't be scared of the Latinas just because they're so out there. And it's true though, because like, although when we got to Grand, I loved the Latinas. They were like, they were larger than life. They are, and they want to get in front. And because they're such a loved, like, community in the pageant world, they always want to be like on the live streams. And the UK is so small, we kind of have to fight our way to the front if we want to get there.
Hey,
Lauren, you're secretly Latina.
No, you've just got to make it well. They all did adopt me. You should have seen the video that got put on one of the fan pages of us all dancing around the room when we were like loving life.
Crystal, did you know that Lauren took a DNA test to see if she had any Latina DNA in her?
Yeah, she's looking for that Miss Beza Latina International title. So.
Crystal's had this at the Queen's Retreat.
Gorgeous. I won't lie, that crown is gorgeous. But yes, Latinas have a lot of personality and a whole lot of passion. So
Crystal, when we spent time at the Queen's Retreat, Crystal really does have some pageant tips that everyone can learn. I remember going in her room once and they were saran wrapped all the way around.
Don't mess around. If you got to wrap your saran wrap, wrap your saran wrap. Do whatever you have to do. You get into that fashion wear, girls.
Love it.
It was so funny.
Now, Catherine Adamson has said girls do not read handbooks. Yeah, so many girls have no idea what the pageant they are entering is all about. Very frustrating. And Sandal Taylor has said, love this. Yeah, I mean, Danielle, I don't know if you feel that we've covered it, but I think the overall consensus would be that many appearances is a bit on the high level, but at the same time,
if you
don't agree with it, don't enter it.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So why don't we move to the wrap up? And Crystal, I always wrap up just by asking people what they've got going on. I mean, for these two, I always ask them what they've got going on for the next week because I'll see them next week. But for yourself, basically, I think it's a good chance to ask what you've got planned for 2020. Dare I ask? So, Crystal, why don't you lead off on this, and then everyone else can feel like they're not pushing themselves hard enough afterwards. So, Crystal, what are your plans for 2020?
I'm just going to get my diary out now.
So.
Exactly.
So from a personal perspective, you know, I have a child. My daughter Tori is going into college. So right now we are focused on where she's going to attend college. She has heard from 3 of the 4 big universities that she wants to go to. She's been accepted into 3 of the 4. We're waiting for the 4th. Wow. And we're flying out to Miami for her to audition for their music department at University of Miami, and we're waiting for University of Central Florida now, and that'll be on Valentine's Day, actually. So we get to celebrate Valentine's Day in Miami while Tori auditions. And then Raymond, my son, who's 13, is going into high school. So we're focused on which high school he's going to attend. So from a personal perspective, that's that. I'll be married 19 years in February to Billy. And yeah, that's like the fun stuff. And from a career perspective, you know, I want to continue to grow my personal self and my career and to my career development, as well. On the other side, which is my fun piece, is the coaching piece, continue to motivate and inspire women to be their personal best. And then from a pageant perspective, continue to be the best Mrs. Galaxy that I can personally be. There may be a week when I don't make an appearance, and there may be a week when I make 2. But at the end of the day, to know, to maintain my plan, to be a well-planned woman who inspires, motivates, and encourages other women to want to have this crown. I was actually with two of the women competing for this crown yesterday, Mrs. Wisconsin and Mrs. Midwest, and we were all together. And I want to continue to inspire women and show women, look, I'm 43 years old and I'm 5'5", and you can do it too. And I really want people to feel like this is something that is attainable for them. And to me, that's what being a Mrs. Galaxy is and should be, is I'm no better than anyone else, but I've been given this opportunity and I am going to make the best of it.
And as well, I think, like, I remember one thing that was in Holly's handbook, and this is one thing that I will always stand by, is Holly writes in her handbook, you could have been that first runner-up. Now imagine if you were that first runner-up and the winner did nothing with their title.
I say it all the time.
You need to be doing something because someone else wants that crown.
Yep. The worst thing that you can do is take your crown and do nothing with it. No, I just turned my light on because it's got dark in Illinois. The worst thing that you can do is take that crown and this opportunity of a lifetime that you've been given and do nothing with it, knowing that there are 4 other women standing in your court who would have loved this opportunity. And I will tell you that that most of the women, and I've been messaged by several women that were in my division at Mrs. Galaxy, who have told me straight out, we are so proud of you and the work that you've done and the way that you've represented us.
That's what you want in life, is to know that you're doing everyone else proud, not only yourself, but everyone else that wanted to be in the position that you're in.
Yeah, you're a representation of all those women.
That's exactly right. And so that's really my goals for this year. And I'm sure there'll be a couple of other things that pop up. But when I think about my goals, the personal, the professional, and the Mrs. Galaxy goals, that really kind of sums it up. And I'm going to work hard through July till the international pageant and crown this next woman and know that she'll do a great job too.
Maria has said, we all know how much I love getting questions that are answered in handbook. And that is sarcasm, I'm sure. So read your handbooks. Crystal, just before I go to the other two, just a very random question. You love your coffee, correct?
I do.
So what is the secret to good coffee and what is your favorite coffee?
No spiders.
Well, Maria has the best coffee. She drinks like a Kona coffee, I think it is, from Hawaii.
From Hawaii, yeah.
So she's like spoiled me to the point where it's I'll never compare. But my favorite coffee is actually in Michigan, and my husband works in Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. So anytime he goes to Michigan, he picks up cases of Tim Hortons coffee. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite. It's my absolute favorite. And I drink it. And my favorite creamer, because I don't take sugar, is like a cinnamon. Right now I'm on a cinnamon kick. Or a hazelnut.
Oh, I hate cinnamon.
Oh, I love cinnamon. It's the Puerto Rican in me.
I'm holding on to the holidays with the cinnamon.
I love it. That's me too. So like a cinnamon.
I like gingerbread, but I don't like cinnamon.
Just something flavorful. So anything kind of nutty, like an almond or anything like that is my favorite.
Can you explain to me creamer? Because I asked on like Instagram. Yeah, but is it actually cream?
No, it's a cream. It's like a very thick milk.
It's like half and half, isn't it?
Yes, it's half and half. It's half and half. Yes, creamer is half and half.
We don't have that in Australia. So if you ask for people to put cream in your coffee, you get very confused looks.
It's like a gold cap in, I think, Tesco, and I remember I took Maria to Aldi when we were in Wales because it was like the nearest place, and there was no half and half. She's like, "How am I supposed to drink my coffee?" I was like, "We'll find it in Tesco's. I'll go there now."
We just stick milk in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what we do in Australia.
The same, but I guess if you're in desperation mode and you need a cup of coffee and the only thing available is milk, you're going to drink it with milk. But I'd rather drink it with milk
because
than
I'm
not
on
have
a
my
diet.
What's half and half?
Say that again.
What's half and half?
Half cream, half milk.
Yeah, I would say half cream, half milk, but I actually don't even know what it is.
A milky cream or creamy milk?
Creamy milk.
I am so confused in general with Americans' coffee.
It's good and flavorful in your coffee if you don't drink your coffee black. And I don't take my coffee black, so.
I drink my coffee black. That's why I can tell. It's very easy to tell who can make a good coffee when they make it black because you can't hide it under cream. I did spend a deal of time in Wisconsin, and they have some interesting things they love eating there, like fried cheese and cheese curds.
Yes, they do. Cheese curds.
I landed after like a 26 or 30-hour flight, and the first thing my friend made me eat was these fried cheese curds, and I'm like, oh my God. But I found one place that did a good coffee, and I struck up a conversation with the guy. But it wasn't easy for me to find Australia-style coffee in America. I mean, we don't have cream; it's just milk or black. What's the American? What's the UK situation with coffee, Danielle and Lauren?
Instant with milk.
No instant. Absolutely not. Not for me. No, thank you.
Okay, so no,
Danielle's a coffee snob. I have instant, and I have it black with 1.5 sugars.
Oh, I can't do it.
No. I haven't got to the point where I've ground my own beans quite yet. I have accidentally bought a bag of beans without having a grinder before. But still sitting in the cupboard.
I've done it.
I've done it before in the past, but I just buy ready ground beans, and then I have like a French press.
Yeah.
And I feel all bougie, waiting for it to like percolate and then like press it down. I don't have time for that.
I get up half an hour before I have to go to work, so it's a quick instant coffee, get ready and go to work. And then I'm an office worker. I can't leave the desk for too long to start pressing coffee and all that crap.
Well, we've always had a coffee machine wherever I work. I've usually worked in like offices where they've had like a bougie coffee machine with the beans in there. It's usually my job to fill the coffee machine up, so I get to
That's what it's like in London. In Wales, we don't have bougie coffee machines or bougie offices to work in.
This is leading off the discussion we had last time about food in the UK and how it's going to kill me. What you have just told me, Lauren, in terms of instant coffee, is like, I'm like Crystal said, her daughter, I think, is a barista or works as I'm a barista. Like I've worked as but I've trained as a barista. You give me instant coffee, that's not going to end well. I can tell you that now.
You can have my espresso then. Well, good luck in Galaxy because all they have in it is instant coffee, so that's all you're going to
Okay, all right, so here's how we're going to deal with this situation. The two things I will bring to UK Galaxy, forget clothes, forget a tux, forget anything else. I'm going to bring a smoothie maker and a coffee machine. Literally, and I swear to God, it would not be the first time I've lived off those two machines.
This is why I bring tea bags. I always bring tea bags to Galaxy.
You should ask Chloe and Joanna to bring their specialty bags.
Oh, their specialty bags.
I know the secret. I've been to UK Galaxy. So I know that they've got the good tea. They've got the good tea.
Yeah, we do have a good tea station.
Mm-hmm.
Good tea.
Wait, no, Galaxy upgraded, didn't it, though? It got those coffee machines in the hotel, at the breakfast bar.
I can't remember if we had coffee in the hotel or not, but I think that there was a little place.
It's got a new coffee station. I'm lying. Since last year, they changed the coffee station, and it's like round the corner, and you can actually click for a latte or something.
Because I was looking for ages for coffee, and it's like in a nook, and I was like, "Where
with all the croissants
is the coffee in this place?" And it's hidden around the corner.
That's unacceptable.
I think I made a mess there as well. They were cleaning up and I spilled a lot of coffee on the side. I was half awake because I was too busy looking for the coffee machine.
I will tell you, if I can't find the coffee machine at UK Galaxy, you will hear a lot of yelling and screaming and probably a very loud tantrum. It is unacceptable to hide the coffee machine. It's unacceptable to hide the coffee machine.
Adrian, a little tip: book into the hotel. Don't book into the village because I've just got.
I would imagine so with Holly. Yeah.
The hotel is sold out. I phoned up yesterday.
Well, I physically went in there.
Yeah, I know you did, Danielle.
Went in there. I was like, "Look, I need the room in the hotel. I don't want to be in the village."
Well, you're not going to have any rooms because they're literally all gone. I'm on a cancellation list right now for the hotel.
Oh.
Yep.
No, yeah, I booked that in. Boom. I want the hotel.
I'll be good.
I'm usually like on it with the hotel, but I just let it go this year and I completely forgot to book it. I phoned up yesterday and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're all full. The only nights we've got is the Thursday night." And I'm like, "Well, it starts on the Friday."
Hey, Billy.
I'm in the Ramada though, so if anybody, Adrian comes in the Ramada, it's a fancier hotel.
So Billy just walked in. So everybody can say hi to Billy.
Hi, Billy.
Hey, Billy.
Okay, so yeah, Lauren, I will talk to you about that because I assumed that the hotel was going to be booked anyway because Danielle mentioned that she'd booked it last time, so that's not a deal. As long as I have coffee and my green smoothies, I can stay anywhere. So honestly, Lauren, 2020, what have you got on between now and next week?
Between now and next week, I'm working a lot. And then I am collecting donations for the orphanage in Thailand. So a lot of people want to send me stuff. And I don't know whether instead of paying for postage and it costing them even more to post things to me, whether anyone wanted to make a donation and I could buy stuff whilst I'm in Thailand, or maybe food supplies for the orphanage or anything like that. If anybody wanted to donate instead of sending me stuff, it would be so much easier and save me the space in my luggage. They can just drop me a message and I'm taking donations.
When do you go?
I leave the 6th of February and I'm there until the 23rd. So I'm going to be there. I've got photo shoots planned whilst I'm there. I'm obviously getting my dresses made there, Olivia's stuff. We're traveling a little bit whilst we're there as well. And then obviously teaching English in the orphanage and everything else, all the other fun stuff that comes with traveling.
I just because you mentioned Olivia and then you just said teaching English and I just had this image of Olivia McPike trying to teach English and I'm like that. Don't do that. You'll have a bunch of these poor kids speaking with Scottish accents and no one will be able to understand a word they're saying. It's like wee whimpering noises. It's like, what was that? Let me just bring you up to speed. I'm going to have so much fun when I meet Olivia. She's probably just going to punch me in the face. And it will totally be worth it. Beatrice Alicia has said, love Tim Hortons. So is Tim Hortons like coffee bean or an instant coffee or what?
It's like a place like a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks, but the closest to me is Michigan.
Okay,
it's
beautiful.
Canadian, no?
It's Canadian. It's Canadian. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Canadian.
I had it when I was in Canada.
There's one in Cardiff, I think, or on the way to Cardiff.
No. Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm making a stop. I'm going to Google that.
Do it.
For God's sake. Maria has said, I had the same issue in the UK. They don't know what half and half is. I don't know what half and half is. Milk is not an option. That's how we have... You can't have coffee in Australia then, Maria, because all coffee is served with milk. Kaylee Atkinson, Mrs Galaxy UK, said, love you, Crystal. Maria has said, I bring my own Kona coffee to UK to make in my Airbnb rentals. Okay. And Lauren is saying, I'm a coffee snob. Lauren's saying, I'm a coffee snob. Maria's importing coffee to have.
Oh, yeah. She's got good stuff.
Jeez.
I want to try this coffee, Maria.
It's really good.
I want to see.
Maria, I'm going to break into your room, steal the coffee, and leave spiders in your room just for you. Kaylee has also said, I remember Crystal supposing next. I think that might have been autocorrect. Will never forget how amazing she made me feel. I was so happy to see her win and follow everything she does. And that's from a fellow contestant, so that means a lot. Maria, I've even brought my own coffee creamers. UK Galaxy Hotel has coffee. You'll be fine. Free breakfast.
Oh, that's right. They have a good breakfast. That's right.
It's included in the room price, though, and if you don't book breakfast on the room, you have to pay.
It's included.
Okay. It's not the free or the paid that worries me. It's what's going to be in it because, like, Lauren gets excited by things that I can't eat.
Coffee. They got all kinds of good stuff
There's fruit, Adrian. There is fruit. There's fruit and yogurt.
Okay.
So bacon, sausage, egg, beans, hash browns, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Lauren, I'm assuming you're doing this just to get a reaction from me, but in case
it's actually so good. The breakfast is really
There's cereal.
Oh,
It is good.
There is a good selection. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Toast.
Right. Toast.
They got the little Nutella sachets.
Nutella, yeah. I was just about to say Nutella.
I'm bringing my smoothie maker and coffee machine. That's all I can say. Catherine Henry said, this is the first year I'm not going to be in the hotel for Galaxy sad times. Kaylee has said, Crystal supported me so much at UK, and I have loved watching her journey. Can't wait to see her again. All right, Danny, bring us up to speed with what you've got between now and next week, and then we'll call it a day.
Next week, I am going to be working out a lot. It's time to kick it up a gear. I'm already sore from my last 2 training sessions. I had a PT session last week, and I'm very proud to say that I actually threw up after that session because I worked so hard.
That's a good session.
Oh my goodness.
He kicked my booty and I had to tap out. I'm like, give me a minute. And I had to dash up the stairs and then do my business and then get back to it. And then I needed to sit outside. It was pouring with rain and I had to sit outside, cool down because I'd overheated. The trauma to my body.
That's when you know it was a good session. That's a good session.
He's a very good PT. So for the next few days, I will be training very hard, getting my body strong, lifting heavy weights, a little bit of cardio in there. New year, new me. The health kick is ready and rolling. And then kind of lining up everything else for my Galaxy journey as well. I've been talking for a very long time about an event that I want to hold. It's called the Pageant Olympics. Well, it's 2020 now. The Olympics is this year in Tokyo. So I really need to get the ball rolling on that. So my mission for this week as well is to secure a venue for the Pageant Olympics. So I want to have that around the time of the Olympics. Hopefully Sarah Davies, who is a GB weightlifter, who is also a pageant girl. She was Miss England in Intercontinental. I think she's qualified for the Olympics now, so I'd like to do it around the time that she is competing. So if the timings match up right, what I'd like to do is hold the Pageant Olympics and have a group of us get a screen and watch Sarah while she competes for her gold medal. So that'd be the ideal. So I want to focus on that.
I'm doing high jump.
You do high jump. There's gonna be, you know, the sprinting, the relay, the shot put, javelin, long jump
too. Is it like sports day where I have to qualify for it?
No, everyone's. It's a free for all, Lauren. It's a free for all.
There was one girl in school that used to beat me, and I was always second. And if she's coming, I'm not doing it.
Well, I can't guarantee that she won't be there, Lauren. There might be a girl that's exceptionally good at jumping.
I sometimes forget, Lauren, that you're sporty because you speak so much about artery clogging food that it completely slips my mind that you actually might be slightly athletic. I was going to say, can I enter the javelin? Because I know where I want to throw that javelin or who I want to throw the javelin at.
Okay, I'm definitely not coming.
I can throw quite a long way.
Come to my event.
In my pageant.
Okay, so that sounds very that sounds full on for all of us. Next week for the podcast we have another Crystal on. We have Crystal Gale, who all of you obviously will know. So, Yep. As I think someone called her Pocket Rocket, tiny but mighty. I still remember that photo when she won and Rebecca Everson was the first runner-up, and I just remember that photo. It looked like a giant going to pick up a midget. It was so. It literally looked like Rebecca was double the size, and I know Rebecca is tall, but it made Crystal look so tiny. So. But good things come in small packages, as they say. So that will be next week. Thank you to Danielle and Lauren for your time as usual. And obviously, massive thanks to Crystal for making time in her schedule to be with us.
Well, thank you for having me again. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see everyone at the International Pageant in July.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of these people will be seeing you in Galaxy, hopefully in the UK, all things going well. So we may see you there. Perfect. Okay, thanks to everyone who watched, and thanks for everyone for their comments, and we will see you same time next week.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Hey guys, it's Adrian again. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and remember to head over to pageantlaunch.com and join the launch team for our pageant review site. All you need to do is put in your email address. Thanks, and speak to you next time.